Hi all, hope everybody is safe and doing well. In this short discussion, I would be discussing about the use of Python as a very good data gathering tool. So far in the course and in the program, we have used Python as a great data analysis tool. I mean, we have a lot of libraries like scikit-learn we used for all the machine learning models. Then we had Keras, TensorFlow, and PyTorch for the deep learning models. We used NLTK, SciPy, GenSim, Pattern, etc. for the language pre-processing. And now, all this time, I mean, we've been using Python as a tool of choice for doing some analysis. So in this short discussion, I want to digress a little towards another area where I found personally Python very good is basically gathering the data. Uh, to be more specific, in the roles of what you call web scraping, because most of the time it doesn't happen that we get the data in proper CSV format, uh, or rather whatever format that we are trying desire before to use it for proper processing. So and this happened to us in one of in our last project. When we asked our client to provide us data, they provided us certain features, but then we found out based on literature review that some of the other features that could be really valuable, and our project was in basically demand forecasting, beverage demand forecasting. So they provided us all the variables related to the beverage sales, price promotions, and all those things. But based on literature review, we found out that the temperature is highly also correlated with the sales. But unfortunately, they were not collecting the temperature data. So basically, then we went ahead and scraped, create scripts in Python, scraped the data. Unfortunately, we found it and collated and added those variables to our data set for the analysis. So in this short talk, I will show another use case. So this is another thing, visualization I was working on. It's in Java. So the thing here is I'm using Python as a tool of choice for gathering the data and Java to create the visualization. It's a 3D visualization that is like a little bit better, more control that we have in Java. So that is the tool of choice to create a visualization, and Python will act as a data gathering or a web scraping tool. Now, in this, so basically heavily I use two packages, and the idea here is to basically throw out a notion. So it is not a full comprehensive tutorial, on or talk on use of Beautiful Soup and Selenium. The main packages I would be using. Selenium is basically used for navigation, web page navigation, and Beautiful Soup is more HTML parsing. So it will not be a comprehensive tutorial. I mean, you can check, there are a lot of tutorials available on internet about both of these packages, and it takes a lot of time. So it will be just basically throwing out a notion, planting a seed, that and showing the capabilities, kind of what we can achieve in using these two packages in Python. So first of all, this is my end goal. What I want to achieve is this. Okay, so this is basically the end goal. I'm just showing this is my Eclipse environment. I'm just opening up the Java. So yeah, this is the visualization, and here we can see this data is actually from last week, and what do you call this is a hex bin map, as I was discussing, and then we can go to any state and look what the case is. So in Texas last week there were 2640 positive confirmed cases. Now, since this data now is obsolete, it's last week's data. And so far, what I've been doing is whenever this data was required, I was manually copying and pasting it from the Wikipedia, that was the source, since most of the time this happens. There is no JSON API, a RESTful API available from which you can fetch the data, and there is no CSV available, or maybe the CSV file is available, but the data is much more at granular level. Like there are certain places where this data is available, but that is at the county level, and then you have to basically find out, okay, all the counties, or maybe you have to massage data in some format. You can do that. It's not a hard thing, but still, I find it, So already Wikipedia collects that data, so we can just look uh, at this data in here. If you open Wikipedia and uh, so just search for 2020 pandemic numbers, we can come here and see. So this is the place where they already collected the data from different states. From the public health department, they collated all the data into this nice table, and this is the table that can be, taken as a source for our data. Now, I could copy paste manually, but that will still cause problems into Excel because the formatting issues. Since this is HTML, and when I'm copying into Excel, it is becoming a little challenging. I can show you here. So if I open Excel and a new workbook and try to copy this, let's see. Yep. So let's copy. Let's try to copy this much to here. So when I copy it in here, see the formatting issues arise, and then you have like these flags and all those things you have to delete or you convert it into text. And then you have to align. Still, it's a problem and it's a manual process. So that is kind of I want to avoid. I want to automate this process up. And as a part of this tutorial, very short presentation rather, I not call it a tutorial. I'll just show you how I did this thing. So let me just close this. So I think this is the end. That's our end goal that I want to achieve. So firstly, I use basically two main packages. One Selenium, another is Beautiful Soup. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Selenium is used for navigation between the web pages and navigation inside, like, searching for a text box, entering the text and all those things. And then Beautiful Soup is basically for the HTML parsing. So once the page is loaded, then Beautiful Soup will go and parse the web page, and then later on we can exploit its functions to fetch different tags of HTML where the data is residing. So to start with, we just load these packages and loaded. So same thing I did manually. Here we had specified a main page URL that is of Wikipedia. Then the search string, search string is basically that we want to put into that search box. Then we loaded a driver. So I'm using right now Chrome, but there are other Selenium web drivers also available for different browsers, for Mozilla and others. Then we can basically get this main page. Then it basically kind of sleeps for 5 seconds. And once the Wikipedia page is up, then it will locate the location of the search box. And then basically in the search box, it will put the search string, that is this thing. And then finally, after 5 seconds, I just time delay to show. And then it will finally submit. And once the page is loaded, the page that contains that table, then the Beautiful Soup will go and parse the HTML, and then later on we can basically find the extract the particular HTML tags that we are looking for. Basically, we're looking for that table, so we can get the table, get the headings, and the rows and the data inside those or those rows, and then finally convert it into a pandas data frame. And then finally this pandas data frame, after doing a manipulation or whatever, like right now I'm doing only for states, so I removed the data for the union territories and kept just the state data. And then finally we will, using this data frame, we will load the file that is used by Java, that input file, and then do the modifications in that based upon this new numbers. We'll add those numbers there and then run the Java visualization again. So that's what be the overview. So I'll just run this quickly and show. So now you can see on top it says Chrome is automatically controlled by a test software. So it brought up the page, it would wait for 5 seconds, and then it searched a search string, just put in there and wait for 5 seconds, and it brought up the page. So the page is loaded now. There's another 5 seconds timer in there that's waiting. It's waiting for. Now the Beautiful Soup already passed this page, and 5 seconds this would be done. So yeah. So basically it's parsed. We can look at how the parse page look like real quick. It's in the parsed HTML. So I just want to have it will be a very big page rather. So you can just see this is the parsed uh, HTML of that page. Now we are looking for the table using now the basically beautiful soup function. We are finding the table, the corresponding tags that contain the table and contain further the table headings and the particular data. And when we find its data, basically we just need state. I initialize two empty lists, one is state, and I just need the number of confirmed cases. So these two lists, and it will parse and put the data into these two lists. After that, from both of these two lists, I'm creating a pandas data frame. And here it is. So you can see we have the state and the positive cases combination in here now. And this is kind of same. We can check right now on Wikipedia. Get this right data in here real quick. Okay. So yeah, so we can look at Alabama is 2838, and that's what, sorry, we can see in here 2838. Yeah, so it collected data for all. Now this is the place where basically the file that is getting used by the Java visualization, since this file contains more columns than this because it contains the state locations and all those things. So now this the collected data will be put inside this file. So I'll run this one. And then it's loaded. Now I'll just go to visualization and run my visualization again. And now it should contain the new data. So here this is back again, and we can see some states going up. Yeah, I think New Jersey numbers went up, and we can see. So yeah, it's 11,661. So last week Texas numbers were around 2,800. Now it's showing 11,681, and New York is at 180K. Yeah. So that's all for this short talk. So whole agenda was to just show the power of Python beyond analysis. And that area can be further explored. I encourage everybody to look at the documentation of Selenium and Beautiful Soup, and you can parse all kind of data that is available on web, and that's more often than not, data is not available in CSV formats. So thank you, and please keep exploring and be safe. Thank you.